Hello. I firstly want to start by apologising and to say that if at all I appear shy, nervous, awkward, that's because that's exactly how I feel. I've never just sat down in front of a camera and spoke to it before. Anything I've recorded in the past, prior to this, has just been me going la 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 into a microphone to a backing track, so this is very alien and very new to me. Please bear with me and be kind. This video is something very personal to me, but it's also something I feel I'm now ready to talk about publicly, in the hopes that it helps anyone who knows me understand what has been going on for the last 6 years or so. Also to anyone that may be going through the exact same thing or something similar, that it'll bring you comfort knowing that you're not alone in feeling the way that you do, because I've felt it too. I'm 23 now, and for the last 6 years or so I've been suffering with anxiety and emetophobia. I'll explain what emetophobia is. I started to notice a huge change in myself that I'd never had before. I had absolutely no idea what was going on, as I wasn't aware of any form of event or incident to be causing the mental and physical symptoms I was actually experiencing. I started to feel out of control of my physical symptoms, for example feeling almost constantly nauseated, frequent headaches, of which I've not had problems with before, feelings of dizziness and sometimes vertigo where the room like fully spins. I was frequently shaky, nervous, upset, and often had like stomach ache and cramps. All of these could escalate within a minute for no particular reason that I knew of, and it could floor me for the whole day. When I had the option, I'd retreat to my bedroom and isolate myself in the hopes that the feelings would pass. This would repeat at least once a day, sometimes lasting for 20 minutes on a good day, but most of the time it has been a 24/7 issue of sporadic feelings of sickness and general ill health. As you can imagine, this very quickly took its toll. I became very upset and worried about what was going on, like anyone would, and I started to question any little change in my body and began to think that something was seriously wrong. At around the age of 18, I was on holiday in Wales with my family and I had my first proper panic attack. Not knowing it was a panic attack at the time, as you can imagine, I was absolutely terrified. And my dad ended up driving me to the local hospital to get checked over, because although I'd had symptoms of, I don't feel that well and not wanting to go out as much and this was like intense. This was something I'd never experienced before. This panic attack included symptoms of like nausea, short of breath, tight chest, shaking, I was sweating. The staff were amazing. And did all the tests they could to try and determine what had happened. All the tests came back absolutely perfect, like better than good. They said it's perfect. Bloods, ECGs, all of that kind of stuff, just all came back absolutely fine. And that's for someone who as a child was diagnosed with asthma. So when the oxygen levels came back and they were like, it's absolutely perfect, I was like, oh, okay, right, so what's happened then? They said it was most likely to be a panic attack caused by A-level exam stress, because that's what was going on at the time. I'd heard about panic attacks before and it was like, well, yeah, that makes sense, because you can put a lot of pressure on yourself. But post successful A-level test results, way after, things were still sporadically strange and seemed to be intensifying. Going out started to very quickly become a problem, and I started to cancel plans with work, friends and family. almost all the time. I felt sick 24/7, I was exhausted, dizzy, shaking. Anyone who knows me from when I was young knows that I was a very healthy, happy child. So this was very abnormal, physically and kind of personality-wise as well, to be so reclused. Many times I pledged that I will get fit, and it's become a bit of a running joke between me and my family and friends. And you know, want to get healthier and I want to go to the gym. I'm going to buy this plan, I'm going to do it. But then going to the gym was an impossible task, because I would arrive, start to panic, do a couple of weight lifts, and then lock myself in a toilet cubicle and see if my dad could pick me up, and this could all happen within just 10 minutes of arriving. So any workout plans and wants were just like, no, I can't do this, like, this is impossible. And although every time I genuinely would be so determined to do it and want to do it because I enjoy working out and I want to look and be fitter, my mind was like, no, you can't do this. This became a frequent issue, and if I got brave and attempted to go out, even just to my town, which is like a 5-minute drive away, down the road, I would often end up calling my dad to see if he could come and pick me up and bring me home, and I'd wait in some public toilets until I knew he'd arrived, because that's where I felt safe, away from people who could see me, because I felt embarrassed and scared of feeling sick and feeling this way. I didn't want anyone to bother me and ask questions. I just wanted to hide away and not be seen until Dad came and I could just scurry out and get in the car and go home. Physical symptoms only got worse over time, and I became more and more of a house hobbit. Work was becoming impossible almost. For anyone who doesn't know, I'm a self-employed tennis coach, and too often I would have to cancel sessions or get cover for things because of these overwhelming, very real and very intense physical symptoms caused by my anxiety that would build during the day until it would dramatically peak right before a lesson. But there are many things that would cause me to feel anxious. Main ones being public transport, queuing, being on my own, feeling like I'm trapped and unable to escape from somewhere, meetings, being inside like a shopping centre, or just being in somewhere that I couldn't just get away from. Being somewhere that doesn't have toilets readily available to enter. So they might have a toilet but someone goes in and locks it, and I'm like, oh, I have nowhere to escape to now. Hearing someone is unwell, or someone talking about being unwell, and obviously me feeling unwell, which ended up being always because of the anxiety that I constantly had. I want to make it clear that although all this for me has been caused by my mind, the physical symptoms of anxiety are very, very real. The part that was invisible was just the cause of these symptoms, and the mind created those symptoms I worried about to become a definite reality, if that makes sense. Nothing is a lie, nothing is faked, nothing is made up. It's hard. My safe places are my home and the car. Don't know why the car is, really, but I suspect it's because it's like my own little space, and you can't necessarily be seen or heard by anyone whilst I tried to deal with the symptoms. More often than not, I will still retreat to the car where possible to have a breather, and I always feel a million times more comfortable if the car is outside wherever I am. So if we do go to a restaurant, I like it if my dad drives. I don't drive just yet. That's also something that's been put on hold because of this anxiety, because obviously driving the car, being away from home, just me and myself, I wasn't ready for that. So my dad is a star and drives me as much as he can to the places where I need to be. Over time, I've learned my triggers. Like, I've learned what causes my physical symptoms to arise, and I try my best to deal with them. I've been to hypnotherapy, and I'm also now attending EFT therapy, which is a form of tapping therapy. I'm also on 10 milligrams of citalopram, which is just a little tablet that you take once a day, and I have been for the last 12 months. I still suffer with anxiety to this day. I'm not making this video because everything's hunky-dory and perfect. It's not. And some days like are better than others, but as a whole, I'm a lot better than I was at the beginning. And the last 2 years have shown the most significant change. Yes, I'm still learning to defeat it, but I am getting stronger week by week. You know, I accept the challenge to defeat this. And I want to share my story with others in the hopes that it may help someone else in my position, and maybe inspire others to talk about it too, because it's more common than we realise, and the more people talk about it, the easier it is for everybody. It's classed as an illness and it's to do with mental health, but it doesn't mean you're weird, it doesn't mean you're wired wrong. It's just the brain has made a connection somewhere, a false connection of fear somewhere, and you just have to work hard to break that to be okay again. You know, in the last 12 months, I've finally figured out, sorry, there's a book here, hold on. I finally figured out what causes my anxiety, and that is an overwhelming and intense fear of vomiting and sickness, which is labelled as emetophobia. But this is the main cause of my anxiety issues that I've had for the last 6 years, for sure. That is my ultimate anxiety problem, is this emetophobia, fear of sickness and vomiting. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to me. It's now a 15-minute video. And just allowing me the opportunity to explain myself a little better. I hope this can help people who know me understand what has been going on recently and why there's been some big changes. And if anyone is watching this that suffers with any form of anxiety, be it the same as mine or something totally different, but gives you the same feelings that I had of sadness, isolation, loneliness, and or confusion, please do message me, I'm here. Mild to intense anxiety, whatever it is, however you feel, please know I'm someone you can talk to. Whether we've ever spoken before or not, it does not matter. No judgment, totally confidential. Between us, never ever feel alone with it, because it's certainly one of the first things I felt, and it was awful. Even if you don't understand it yourself, maybe we can try and figure it out, and we can help each other and understand, because life's about learning and helping one another. Thank you again, and I'll see you soon for another video.